A couple weeks ago, President Barack Obama announced an executive order, an executive action, something I think many people that follow politics in Washington, D.C. and have been paying attention across the news spectrum over the last couple weeks expected. And that was a change when it came to immigration policy in this country, executive action style. Basically, I'm going to just simplify it here. About half of the illegal immigrants in this country would be excluded from any threat of deportation as long as they have children that are in school in this country and children that they brought across the border or children that were born in this country and American citizens, and of course provided that they're not already on a felony warrant list or have already had some type of proceedings done against them that would remove them from this country. It still means half the people in this country could theoretically be deported, but I don't think there's a realistic chance of that happening. Immigration has been a big issue for this president's administration. And while we go to last summer and last spring with all the kids flocking to the border to try to get safe amnesty, maybe this is a little bit of what some of those people knew in Mexico that maybe we didn't know in America and other Central American countries. Because actually, I misspoke, there wasn't Mexico. Those kids were coming from El Salvador and Honduras because we have a contingent order with those border countries of Canada and Mexico that has sends the kids back right away without hearings, etc. It was kids from Central America. But something was definitely going on this spring and summer that the Latino community outside of the United States and maybe even inside the United States knew something might be coming by this president. Now, I'm not saying immigration hasn't been a big issue. Going back to President Bush, he tried to tackle immigration. Heck, I think President Clinton even tried to take up this mantle at one point. It's been a difficult lightning rod. But what I question is the timing of this. Shortly after the midterm election, which the president's party and the president himself kind of refutation of his policies, and the election lost control of the Senate. He knows he doesn't going to see an immigration bill that he would probably sign come before him. The House sent a version to the Senate refused to hear it. The Senate sent an immigration bill to the House over the last couple of years. They refused to hear it. A lot of it had to do with whether or not the fence should be built first before some type of amnesty is granted and pathways to citizenship, etc. Ultimately, though, I think this is what's behind the president's executive action. And I think this because of the timing. I think this was to solidify millions of new potential voters, either those that could soon find some kind of citizenship, maybe are here legally now or here without fear of deportation and will vote anyway, even if it's legal or not, or those that have family connections to some of the Latino communities that will see this as a positive. I think it's an attempt to get votes, pure and simple. And I do think it is circumventing the Constitution in some way. But I also think a big part of this is political strategy by the president. Any executive order by the president can be superseded by Congress, which means if those congressional leaders do not like what's going on with this executive order, they have to try to pass something. The problem is, it's got to also pass the president's signature. And without a supermajorities in both houses to be able to throw something over the president's head, it's likely got to be something the president can agree to. So will we see anything done on immigration? We'll see. Otherwise, this is ultimately just a political play by the president in order to gain more executive authority in his office and in order to try to push more voters towards his political party. Otherwise, immigration could have been dealt with a long time ago. Why wouldn't have something like this been executive action done when we had the crisis border with all the children? The timing of it is what makes it so political. And to me, I think it's somewhat insulting that this administration doesn't think most Americans, I believe, can see through that.